Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashum, Yahushai, Bahashum, Arachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Now, if you're looking to find a virtuous wife here in Babylon, in this modern era, in this generation, and you're sadly mistaken, unless you're fortunate enough, and you're a man of the Lord. There's a rare few out there, that the Lord will gift you with in due time. But as of now, here in Babylon, here in the U.S. of A., it's a needle in a haystack to find a virtuous woman. Now, I'm going off of this post, that was screenshotted and shared to put this individual on blast, to hold her accountable. Now, the lady who posted this, she ended up getting in trouble for posting this, but because it was from a private group on some social media site. It might have been on Facebook, wherever it may have came from, but she thought it was worthy to put it out there. All right. And this is a woman who's confessing that she's tired of supporting her husband, while he's down and out. According to the story, Jake, he lost his job. He was doing well for himself, but then he ended up losing his job, and he fell into depression. So basically, the woman had to basically support the household, and she grew tired of it, and let's just say she no longer wanted to support Jake, and she was ready to throw it all away and jump to something next, something greener, right? So this is the confession, and it says, last month my fiance got laid off from from his corporate job after 6 years. We've been living together for 2.5 months and been together for 3 years. I still work and now pay majority of the bills because his unemployment is shit. He gets up and sits on the couch staring at the TV, and he hardly speaks to me. I checked out and don't know how to tell him I met a great guy at my job who makes me laugh. Then I have to come home to him still sitting on the couch. So she already putting it out there that, while she was checked out, she was already, dealing with a guy at the job, basically a work husband. All right. So clearly she's confessing that she's having an affair on the side, because she no longer have any love and support for her fiance. Now, the scriptures tell you, as long as a man live, and even if you're betrothed to that man, you're promised to be married to him, that's pretty much your husband. Is Romans 7:1. It says, "Know you not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which have an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband." All right. So she's confessing that she's already seeing a dude at her job. All right. And we know that this is a common thing here in Babylon, the mother of harlots. Anywhere any public workforce that you work at, there's a bunch of men and women in the same setting. It don't matter if they're married or not, whether they're in a relationship or not. Everybody's dealing with each other. A lot of adultery, wickedness. All right. So verse 3, it says, "So then if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that he is no so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. So ultimately, this woman, you know, she's an adulteress. You know, just because a man is, you know, down and he's not able to fully support at the moment, that doesn't give you the green light or out to go out and you know, seek an affair, start dealing with another dude. So instead of supporting this man and encouraging him, you know, she pretty much gives up and going pretty much and this you know, this type of shit right here. And this is the reason why, you know, men, they don't want anything to do with these modern women. This is why they're packing up, they're getting passports, and they're getting out of the country. All right, this was not wife material, and it was a good thing that he set on the engagement for all that time, just, you know, because you never know. And if he would have married her, it would have been a lot worse. So, hey, you know, the test was there, you know, the circumstance pretty much tested her, and she proved herself unworthy. She was not a worthy wife. So who could you know, who could find a virtuous woman like the scriptures say? All right, and that was actually the words of a woman. Let's go to Proverbs 31. And these are the words of Lemuel. Proverbs 31:1, it says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Yeah, so she was just laying it down to him. Now I want to jump down to the worthy woman, Proverbs 31 and 10 through, I'm gonna read to verse 12, and let me get this in the AMP. It's Proverbs 31 and 10 through 12. It says, an excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he who can find her? Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. The heart of her husband trusts in her with secure confidence, and he will have no lack of gain. Well, it can't be said for a lot of these men in Babylon. All right, you get with these women, you don't even know what you're dealing with. You know, so it's best to not even marry. Because at any given time, she can change her mind. She could jump ship and move on to the next, because they always believe the grass is greener. She'll get bored, you know, she'll, you know, come up with some type of excuse to you know, dip away, especially if the resources dry up or you fall on hard times. She's not going to be with you, you know, through thick and thin. You know, when you up and when you down. Well, no, when you up, she'll be there. But when you down, she just gonna hop off to the guy that's on his way up. That's just how they roll, man. Hypergamy. It says, she comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. That means throughout all her days, as long as she live. All right. How many women are going to maintain that support, that loyalty, that encouragement, the comfort, even no matter what the circumstance is? Because, hey, you know, us as the church, you know, we're married to Yahushua. We're Yahushua's woman. Man, we're supposed to maintain our love for Yahushua no matter what the circumstance is. Like it says in Romans, the 8th chapter. You know, not, let me go to that. And you won't find women to ride for you the way the elect will ride for Yahushua. And that's flat out. This is Romans 8:35. It says, who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine? And see, in the circumstance of the male and the female, the tribulation will come in the form of, financial hardship. The man is out, he lost his job, so he lost the financial stability to support you and the household. That's a form of tribulation. Will you still continue to love your husband even in the time of trouble? So think of that mentality as the elect towards Yahushai, with Yahushai being the head of the man. It says, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither life nor death, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord. All right? So, under no circumstance are we to abandon our love and loyalty or fidelity to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So it's the same for these women. Your woman is supposed to support you in everything. Even no matter what the condition is. All right? But you ain't gonna have too many women like that in this day and age. You happen to be a brother that's fortunate, and you might have a woman like that, then hey, she's a rarity. Like the scriptures say, if you marry, seek not to be loose, especially if you have a woman like that, but they're very far and few. Don't let that woman go. Okay? So verse 12, it says, she comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. So a woman, she's supposed to be a man's comfort. All right? But you ain't going to have that on this side. As soon as you catch a little hell, she ready to dip off. Or, she'll just give you hell. She'll be contentious with you. She'll get real bold. And the scripture even say that. And matter of fact, I'm going to get to that. But let me finish this post. So it says, she said, I'm tired of paying majority of the bills and I want out. I need tips on how to leave him. You're never supposed to leave your man. Under no circumstance. As long as that man live, you're never supposed to leave him. But, we're in Babylon, okay? You could do what you want to do in the land of lawlessness. It says, he never leaves the house, so how can I pack? I've dealt with this for long enough and I'm tired. I even got the engagement ring appraised and it's only worth $600. He didn't even try when he was making $90,000. Please help with suggestions. I want to leave him before the New Year's. So she wants to plot her escape. And she's asking, other hyenas, or other wicked women, advice on basically how to, do what they normally do. Okay? And you probably think that maybe there will be women that'll come out and hold her accountable and shame this woman. But I'm pretty sure in that little group that she was in, they was all encourage her. Yeah, you don't need her. You could do better. And some of them women are speaking out of experience. They'll leave the guy that they with because they are unsatisfied or not happy with something. And then they find an exit route. And they already have a rebound that they've been working on while they were still in the marriage or relationship. So this is what you got to pick from in Babylon. And you wonder why these men are saying adios. All right, so let me get this scripture now. In the Apocrypha. Actually, you know what? Let me go here. We go to Bible Gateway. We're going to go to the Good News translation. And we're going to go to the book of Sirach, the 25th chapter. And this is what it says, when you fall into this circumstance, you fall into some type of hardship, don't expect these women to continue. All right, she's not gonna, bear that burden with you. She want to live in comfort. She want to live at ease, which the scriptures say that. Woe unto you women that are at ease. This is Sirach 25 and verse 22 and 23. It says, when a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be anger, arrogance, and humiliation. She's going to lose respect. She's going to talk to you crazy. She's going to be looking for an out. You start to notice her spirit switch up on you. And more than likely, she probably didn't invited another man's spirit onto her by that time. She didn't dealt with someone. So now you definitely got another vibration that you got to fight against. All right, it says, a bad wife will make her husband gloomy and depressed and break his heart. Show me a timid man who can never make up his mind, and I will show you a wife who doesn't make her husband happy. So imagine him waking up to this type of, information, going around about his angry wife, who basically doesn't want to support, her husband who's been, down and out, or her fiance. All right. Now, yeah, I'll say this, depression, that's not a good thing. And you want to, get over your hurdle, because there ain't nothing going to be done if, you just wallowing in your own sorrow, man. You gotta, but if you got a woman that'll support you and encourage you, that would get him to it would help motivate him to get back on it, or at least a set of friends, who have that mentality, to get right back up, instead of just wallowing in sorrow, man, depression, because that displays a bit of weakness, and that will cause a woman to lose all respect. So maybe it was him being depressed for as long as he had, where she got tired, but that's still no excuse for her. All right. So this is what can happen, and this is what the scriptures say. If a woman supports her husband, there's going to be anger, arrogance, humiliation. All right. So let me go from there to Sirach, the 6th chapter, because a wife is supposed to be loyal like a friend, but you got fake friends, and then you have real friendship. And we know the difference, because in a real friendship, they're there when you're going through hell and when you're prospering. They don't abandon you as soon as you start catching hell. This is Sirach 6 in the Good News translation, and verse I'll start at verse 7. It says, when you make friends, don't be too quick to trust them. Same thing with a wife or a woman. You're supposed to vet that woman, just like you would vet a friend. Trust them. All right, through proof, being put in certain circumstances, experiences. Then everything will come out, everything will show. It says, make sure that they have proved themselves. Some people will be your friends only when it is convenient for them. Like a lot of these women in these marriages, they'll be married to you only when it's convenient. And then when the opportunity presents itself, they dash out, knowing that under the court system, the moment they do that, they taking half of everything that you worked for. They're getting alimony, they're getting you know, the property. They getting custody. So that first 7 years, you know, especially if you're doing well, it's convenient for them. But notice they only leave when, you know, the resources kind of dry, or maybe take a dip. You know, something inconvenient take place, and they lose that comfort zone, or they lose satisfactory. That's when they'll dip off. So she was really never a true wife. She was only in it for the convenient time, to get what she can out of the marriage before she dips. It says, but they won't stand by you in trouble, like that woman. Others will fall out with you over some argument and then embarrass you by letting everyone know about it. Others will sit at your table as long as things are going well. They will stick to you like your shadow and give orders to your servants, but they will not stand by you in trouble. If your situation takes a turn for the worse, they will turn against you, and you won't be able to find them anywhere. That's how it goes. That's usually what happens, man. They're a bunch of, you know, snakes and scavengers. All right? So you got to have that, you know, I don't trust nobody, right? You know, only your true loyal friends that were there from day one. That's why certain dudes, they'll marry they day one, you know, going back to their high school years, and those usually last because they have something, you know, that's you know, they have a foundation that they built upon. All right, they knew each other from, you know, when they were, you know, young, when they didn't have anything, and then they grew together and they built. A lot of these women today, they expect for you to already have something built, something already established. You have the hyena, the end of, they say we tired of dealing with potentials. But you got the Edomite woman, she'll look at you and see some type of potential, and then she'll be like, hey, I see something in this dude, and I'm gonna get with him. I'm gonna treat him right, and I'm gonna support him. And then when he becomes successful, hey, you know, while Eve, she want the whole package. She want everything already established when she meets you. So you stay. That's why we always say, you know, stay away. All right, unless you can find the rare one. All right, but anyway, that's pretty much it. So we go back to that post. And I think this same woman, she called herself the Queen of Accountability. She posted an update on it. And I think she notified him, you know, brought awareness to it, and he pretty much you know, he had a reaction to it. So she said, I just got my account back. She reported the post at my page. I'm no longer in that group. But she said that, and I sent it to you immediately from 2 different accounts. So this is after she got her page flagged and suspended. The man replied, the fiance said, man, Daphne, I carried her for 2 years when she was living with her abuela. So she was down and out, and he was basically taking care of her and supporting her. You see how selfish these women can be? So this is his side of the story. He said that he was, when he was still working his corporate job and doing well, she was living with her abuela. All right. And then he said he proposed and asked her to move in, then got laid off. So she moved in and lived with them, and then unfortunately he ended up getting laid off and losing his corporate job. He said, I've been down ever since. I had a feeling she was cheating, and now it's confirmed. I'm fucked. Hey. And she done basically broke dude's heart. See that? Won't comfort a man in his distress. No, she said, no, you're not. Imagine if you had married her. You deserve so much better. Ephraim, I can be your life coach. I'll help you free of charge. And I don't want to condone that. All right, because really, what happens between a man and a woman is their business. I wouldn't meddle in that. But it's unfortunate for Jake. This might be a northern tribe brother, catching it, from his woman, and we don't. And this woman could have been a N-dub, or it could have been a northern tribe woman. They all the same to me. All right, from the southern kingdom to the northern kingdom, and it's just due to that dynamic of being here in Babylon, and also the curse. Her eyes shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom. That's in the curse. So this is what Jake got to deal with. This is why Jake is, dealing with these other women, the women of the other nations. All right, but yeah, he pretty much put that out there, and I was taking care of this bitch when she was down. So now I fall into the same boat, and now, she's supporting me. Now she want to leave. So there it is. And according to her post, this is what she said. It says, yesterday I was in a group where a high-calorie individual asked for tips on how to leave her fiance because he lost his job after 6 years and became depressed. Instead of supporting him, she ran to a private group to plot her exit. I held her accountable and let her know I messaged Ephraim. I made the mistake of tagging her directly, and she immediately reported my post and my video about Mario being sexually assaulted. That report cost me my page for a short time. I got it back with new restrictions. The best part, I spoke with Ephraim for 40 minutes. He's doing okay. We worked on his resume, talked about his mental health, and he does have a support system. He's also preparing to remove the high-calorie individual from his life. So this was a fat hoe who thought she could, she deserved better. It's crazy, man. The entitlement, the false sense of value that they place within themselves, even when they know, because you got overweight women that are even entitled, and they be thinking that they deserve the best of the best. All right, over 6 foot, 6 figures, the 6-pack abs. All right, he's intelligent. He's smart. He's funny. He's humorous. He has an edge. They want all that. Meanwhile, she, 250 plus pounds, 5'4". These chicks is out of their head, man. Delusional. So basically, he dodged a Super Mario brother bullet. Them big ass bullets on Super Mario Brothers. That's what he dodged. It says, this is why she reported me. She knew a disabled page can't message anyone. From now on, I'll be more careful. So, this is pretty much the aftermath of what happened. So I'm pretty sure they worked on his resume, and he's probably gonna maybe get another gig and bounce back. Who knows? And that means that he would have escaped a wicked ass woman. All right. The scriptures say all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is as bands. Whosoever pleaseth the Lord shall escape her, but let the sinner be taken by her. Okay, so hey, this dude he dodged a big one. Okay. So anyway, I just want to do a response lesson on that, and hopefully y'all are edified. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Shalom.